Okay, and just in case you didn't watch the previous video, I'm going to start from the beginning. You need to go to Pixlr. You need to pick Pixlr E, and you need to click on Open Image. This is an online software. You do not have to download anything. You do not have to pay for anything. It is completely free and completely online. I'm going to pick this image, which is a device holding a bag. I'm going to choose a device holding a bag. A bag holding a device. All right, I'm going to choose the web version. I'm not going to worry about these sizes. I'm going to click apply. All right, now you can see my image is right here with my big blank device right there waiting for its cover. First thing I'm going to do though before I can import my cover is I'm going to crop it. I'm going to click this crop tool over here. You see if I hover it will tell me it's a crop tool. And then I'm going to come up here where it says constraint. I'm going to choose ratio. It already automatically picks 1:1. However, I don't like the way that's cropping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my arrow tools. Nope, not my arrow tools. I forgot. Arrow tool works on Photoshop for this, but it doesn't work on this. So I'm going to use my click and mouse drag. I'm going to click my mouse and drag the square over till I like how it's being cropped. I think I actually just want it just like that. Yeah, because what that does, if you see when I'm holding down the mouse, it creates, it pulls up this grid and it puts the device kind of in that upper right intersection there. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter. And there we go. Now I have my perfect square, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that my image size is 1080, which is a good size for Instagram. You can see here it's much smaller. If I went with this, I could wind up with a blurry image when I upload it, and Instagram tries to make it bigger to fit their feed. I'm not sure. I haven't actually tried. I just know that 1080 is a safe dimension, and that's what I stick with. So I'm going to click apply. I do also know that if I try to resize this after I added the cover image would get blurry. So you need to make sure that you do the image resizing at the beginning. So crop, then image resize. Now bring in, go to edit, no, layer. Go to layer and bring in add image as layer. Now you're going to bring in your cover image, okay? I'm going to go grab my image. I'm going to open it. And now you can see I've brought in my image and it's much too big. I used my scroller to zoom out. If you don't have a scroller on your mouse, you can use this to zoom in and out. I'm going to grab this corner. I'm going to shrink this way down. I'm going to grab this with my mouse, drag it on top, and I'm going to zoom back in so that it's easier to work with. Okay. Now, the temptation is to just grab this and just rotate it into place and just stick it there and like try to make it fit. But you'll see that even though this is, okay, let's see. Even though this is in line, you can see there's a little bit sticking out here and a little bit sticking out there. And the reason that is because this this device isn't perfectly square with the camera. This corner is just ever so slightly farther away from the camera than this edge down here. So rotating doesn't work. So what I want to do is I'm going to undo my rotate. Oops, that's not the undo. That's not the undo symbol. That's what it looks like on Photoshop Elements, which is what I usually work with. Okay, instead I'm going to come up to Edit. I'm going to click Undo, Undo, Undo. Okay, so now I've got back to my giant image. I'm going to shrink it down again. I'm going to bring it up here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to shrink it down some more. I want to get it fairly close to the size that I think I need to cover that black square on the tablet. I think that's pretty close. Now I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click on Image, slide over to Edit. That's what I need. I'm going to click on Edit, scroll on down here to Free Distort. That's the tool I need, Free Distort. I'm going to click on that. You'll see these turn to little circles in each corner here. Okay? Oh, go away, ad. This is the price you pay for, no. This is the price you pay for free software. You have to deal with the ads. Okay, going back up here, grabbing the free distort. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this dot up to the corner. And you may be thinking, oh my goodness, what is that doing to your cover? That looks terrible. Don't worry, it will all work out in the end, I promise. Now what we're going to do is going to swing this wide. until that line lines up with the edge, right like that. I'm going to get this corner and I'm going to make sure it's in line there. And I'm going to swing this on over just a little past so I can see that I'm lining it up. Bring it on back right about there, I think. Looks good. And so that seems a bit longer than is necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up to about where I think that the bottom of that tablet probably is hiding underneath the bag. I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. I don't want to make it too squatty because that'll make her look bigger. See if I like squish it up like that, she looks much more pregnant. Let's put it that way. Okay, I think that's pretty darn close. I'm gonna just double check that I'm still in line here. Yep, still in line here. The angle of the bottom here, I'm not quite sure that I like that. Let's see. There. I think that looks good. There. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna click enter. And so now what I've got is I've got this line and I've got this line, I've got this line all lined up. But as you can see, this cover is still sitting on top of the bag, and that's not going to work now, is it? So one thing you need to do before you use this next tool we're about to use is I want you to come over here and let's see. Yeah, so you're going to right click, and then close that. You're going to right click on the cover layer, okay? Going to come down to here, you're going to click duplicate. Now you've got two of them, okay? Now what this is this is your backup. This is your copy that you're still going to have just in case you mess up the cover, the copy that you're working on. So, but we want to hide it so that we can't see it while we're working on the next step. So we're going to just uncheck this box and it will disappear. You can't see a change here because this one's still here. If I were to uncheck this, well then neither of them would be showing. So I'm going to leave that one on. That's the one we're going to work with. This is our oops copy. This is the one we come back to if we screw this one up, okay? So now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab the eraser tool. I'm going to get rid of that silly add again. All right, I've still got my eraser tool. Now I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm just going to start erasing. As you can see, the bag is being revealed as we're erasing the cover. Now, it's important that when you have the eraser tool, you have the cover layer highlighted. If you had this highlighted and you tried to erase, well then, uh-oh, now you've erased part of the bag. But don't worry. All you do is come up to here and click undo, and it fixes your boo-boo, okay? Now make sure you've got that cover layer selected, and just go on and erase, erase, erase. And what you're doing is you're erasing the part of the cover that would be hidden in a real photograph of this type. So I'm going to zoom in some more to make it easier for me to work with. The tighter the space you're working with, the more zoomed in you should be to make it easier for you to get those lines exactly where you want them. Now what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to just reveal the edge of the top edge of the bag without revealing anything that's coming out of the bag, if that makes sense. We don't want to reveal the screen underneath that we just covered, but we want to see all of this top edge of the bag, or at least as much of it as we can manage without messing it up. So I'm just going to keep working on this here. And it can be a good strategy to use short edits. Don't try to do it all with one click. Don't try to hold it down and erase the whole thing in all one click, because then if you have to go back, then you're undoing everything you did instead of just that little oops you did, right? If you go a little bit too far, like say I did this. Oh, that isn't too far actually. I've got more to go than I thought. Okay, let's say I did this though. Okay, now we can definitely see the black. Oops. Well, because it was just one click, if I do edit, undo, or Control Z, now it's good. But if I were to do Say if I were doing all of this carefully and then I went, uh-oh. Well, then now when I do Control Z, I've lost all of that. You see what I mean? So little clicks are probably the best one. Just a few seconds here and there so you don't lose as much time if you have to go backwards. And this really doesn't take that much. It's just a little bit of patience. It's just like drawing. Your hand-eye coordination with a mouse will get better the more you do it, of course. Okay. I'm getting pretty close to the edge here. I'm just taking away a little bit at a time. Now what I'm going to do to see how much farther I have to go, because I'm getting so close, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to make it disappear, and I'm going to kind of like eyeball where that line is and make it come back. And so I can see I've got quite a big chunk here. This isn't, I've got too much of a dip going on. This is like cutting hair. You can always cut more off. Oops, I think that was too far. You could always cut more off, but you can't put it, it's harder to put it back. I will say it's more forgiving than cutting hair because you have Control Z with this. You don't have Control Z when you're cutting somebody's hair with scissors. Oops. Okay. I think I just want to take a little bit there. Let me see. Nope, that was too much. What did I do there? Let me see. And the other thing is you can also redo. Sometimes when we're making these tiny little things, you can't really see how much of a difference you're making. I think that's probably good enough. I think that's pretty darn close. And the thing about social media is that when you zoom out, on social media, the pictures are real small, right? So this is what people are seeing. That looks pretty convincing, right? So there you go. That's all it takes, just some free distortion and some erasing, and you're good to go. So we're going to click Save, just like before. We're going to change the name. We're going to call this Sits in Bag with Flowers and Coffee. And we're going to click that medium because it takes up less storage space when you click medium, and it makes it easier to go uploading and downloading onto the internet and off the internet. The dimensions are already correct, and so we're going to click download. And as you can see, that just took us about 12 minutes, 45 seconds, and that's with me doing all this jabbering in your ear. It doesn't take very long. It's pretty simple to do, and it has a very convincing, great effect. So if you're out there and you're trying to take a picture of this bag and you've got the cover up and it's just not working for you because the sun is glaring on the screen, well, now you have another option. All right, you don't have to completely abandon your creative idea. You can fake it. All right, hopefully this was helpful.